Lipase production. The commercialized production of lipase we are going to discuss today. And before getting into the upstream and downstream processing, which organism is very useful and what are the media preparations is needed for this lipase production, before getting into it, we should know exactly what is lipase is. From the name itself, we will know that it is nothing but an enzyme. Enzyme is basically a biocatalyst which will enhance the reactions. So here this lipase will also involve in the hydrolysis of fat. So it will break down that fat into some of the glycerol or else fatty acid molecules. This lipase will have a very vast application. That's why we are going for the commercial production. Whatever may be the lipase produced in the industries will be used in many industrial applications, we can say. When it starts from the food industry, environmental industries or paper industries, textile industries, it have very vast application. That's why we are looking forward into this industrial production. The lipase is one of the subclass of esterase, and it have an essential role in digestion, transport and also processing of these lipids. So basically the lipids is nothing but triglycerols, oils or fats. So we can say like this lipase will be naturally produced in the human body, especially from the pancreas. It can able to break down the fats into a smaller molecules, either it is a monoglyceride or else a fatty acid molecule. So that the body can able to absorb that, and also if it requires a further energy molecule, it will break down these glycerides and fatty acids into a energy molecule. This is what happening in human body, we can say it. So as we know very well what will exactly happen whenever we are eating the food molecules. So when we are taking the food molecules through our mouth, the teeth can able to break down some of the solid molecules into a simpler component along with the amylase production, which is naturally produced in our mouth, and it will make that food molecules into some of the softer or chewable, the hard to some of the soft molecules it will be converted, and then we will it will reaches the stomach. When it reaches the stomach, then because of the HCl present in that, bile juices is present in that, and also the pancreas will start producing its lipase. Everything will be broke down into some of the energy molecules, fats and proteins will be break down into amino acids. All these processing are happening. So this, whatever may be the solid molecules or the fat we are eating, will be completely broke down into fatty acids and glycerides. This will be stored in our body for the further energy molecules. If we doesn't take any of the foods, then this fat molecules will be converted into energy molecules in the upcoming process of it all. So even though the viruses will have some of the gene which can able to produce this lipase. So we have a bacterial lipase, fungal lipase and also the yeast lipase. So based upon the microbial production, we can also have a classification overall. We should know that how this hydrolysis process have been happened. This lipase can able to convert the lipids, which is a substrate. This substrate molecules, triglyceride, will be converted into monoglycerides and also free fatty acids and some of the glycerol molecules. So this is what the exact hydrolysis process of the lipase. So it will involve in the hydrolysis process, and it will enhance the reaction to break down into similar molecules. And as I told you before, it have a very vast applications. Even in the detergent industries, they are using this in order to remove the stain. And in biofuel production, they are using this lipase. Even for the flavoring and also for the aroma, they are using this lipase. Even for the bioremediation process, for the wastewater treatment and all, they are using this lipase. Even in paper industries, textile industries, leather industries, they are using this lipase in order to remove the hydrophobic substances present in it. So it have very vast industrial application. That's why we are going for the production of this lipase. Okay. Characteristics of lipase. So this lipase have a very by nature itself, it will have very specific characteristics. One is that enantioselective, regioselective and chemoselective. So from the name itself, we know enantio is nothing but it is one or more chiral molecule, and it is called as enantiomers. And next one is the regioselective. Regioselective will be like if we are giving this lipase for the hydrolysis molecule or for breaking down for any reaction, it will be give preference to only particular bond, even though the more same bonds will be available, but it will be very selective for the breaking down or bonding of the two components in one particular area. So it is called as regioselective. And chemoselective is nothing but this will exclusively happen only for the specific functional group. So it will go and break down, or else it will go and bind to a specific functional group, even though it will have many functional groups. So it will be like very specific. That's why we are going for this lipase protection. This lipase will also have, even in the low substrate, it will be very specific. It will hydrolyze the fat. It will also withstand some of the harsh conditions like even the pH, or else the temperature is having a very vast changes. It will also can able to withstand it. This lipase in eukaryotes, we can say it is used for the fat digestion, absorption, and also the reconstitution and lipoprotein metabolism. So that's why this lipase will have, by nature itself, it have some of the specific characteristics. And in plants, we can say the lipase is found in the energy reserve tissues, and also this will be extracted for the detergent industries in order to utilize this lipase. And it will be very stable even for the pH 6 to 7.5. And this will main thing is that it can able to hydrolyze the triacyl glycerol. As I told you, this triacyl glycerol will be converted into fatty acid and glycerols. Then we will move on to the classification of lipase. Based upon its specificity and also the sources, we can classify this lipase into two categories. Based upon the specificity, like it is substrate specific lipase is there, regioselective lipase is there, and angioselective lipase is there. So regioselective will be further divided into non-specific and also specific fatty acid specific lipases. So based upon the sources, we can say the plant source lipase, animal source, insect source, and microbial source. So when we talk about the microbial source, either through the fungal lipase, yeast lipase, or bacterial lipase, we can able to go for it. So in industries, we know that for the by the fermentation methods, we will go for the microbial source. The organism which can able to produce this lipase. In general, we can say some of the gram positive or gram negative fungi, yeast, actinomyces can able to produce this lipase. So in industries also, they will be specifically select a particular organism, and then they will look for the desired yield is very good, then they will select that particular microorganism and they will go for the industrial production. We know all these things in general. So what are the bacterial gram positive bacteria? So one of the microorganism, for example, they have seeing all these things, the Bacillus megaterium, and gram negative bacteria is Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Fungi will be Rhizopus delamer, and yeast will be Candida rugosa, and actinomyces such as Streptomyces fradii. These are the microorganisms which is specifically used for the industrial production of our lipase. Then not only the naturally occurring microorganism, even we can able to isolate these microorganisms from the industrial wastes. For example, the vegetable oil processing factory, we can able to isolate this lipase enzyme producing organism. Also from the dairy industries, from the contaminated soil, which from the oil contaminated soil we can able to extract it, and also from the oil seeds, the decaying foods, we can able to isolate the organism which will be able to produce the lipase. So either the bacteria, fungi, yeast, or actinomyces can able to produce this. In general, we can also able to produce these some of the lipase We know that there are different types of lipases already available. So thermostable lipase can able to produce by some of the thermophilic bacterial species, bacillus species, and the yield can be achieved very good in extracellular lipase by using an organism called Arova lipolytica, and it is a mutant species which can able to produce by using this methyl acetate. And some of the bacillus species called Bacillus cepacia, and this will be can able to produce the alkaline lipase. And some of the by using a solid state fermentation method, even by using the bambasoo oil cake, so which is nothing but palm plant. We can say palm plant can able to produce some of the oil. We know that from that palm oil, after pressing that, taking out all the oil from it, that cake have been used it as a substrate, and Penicillium rusticum has been microorganism have been used in order to produce this lipase. And Pseudomonas aeruginosa is commercially used for the extracellular lipase production, and which have a role in the industries like detergent. And even the active lipase have been produced by Micrococcus roseus, which is nothing but a semi-solid state fermentation method, and by using agriculture residues. So these are some of the examples how the lipase can be produced, and what are the microorganisms can able to produce it in the industries. Then we will look forward into the large scale industry, how the raw materials have been playing an important role. We know that most of the industries they will concentrate more on the yield as well as the raw material cost. This plays an important role in it, because if the raw material is very high in price, they cannot able to give a low priced product. So they will be very conscious over the enzyme production, and its price will also be very high in so the raw materials, the selection of the raw material is very important. Here they are using some of the fructose along with the oils, that is palm oil, as a best carbon sources to in order to enhance the lipase production. So they also undergone some of the sunflower oil, sesame oil, cottonseed oil, corn oil or peanut oil. All these vegetables oil can able to use as a carbon source which can able to produce this lipase in a very large amount. And they have compared it in a pilot scale manner, and then they will went for the particular microorganism which can able to give you a very specific yield of it. Then we will move on to the carbon sources. So what is exactly the carbon sources being required for this lipase production? Or most of the vegetable oils such as corn oil, olive oil, soybean oil, palm oil, groundnut oil, sunflower oil, sesame oil and cottonseed oil. And some of the carbon sources such as that is carbon dioxide such as glucose, mannitol and fructose, even sucrose, lactose, maltose, xylose, dextrin, rhamnose. All these carbohydrates have been used for the production of lipase. And some of the nitrogen sources such as peptone, cornstarch liquor, soybean meal, yeast extract and polypeptone. These are the nitrogen sources, so very essential for the lipase production.